up, everybody? Thanks for checking out the video and welcome to Keeping It Real Fishing. Guys, this past year I put out a whole series of videos entitled Swimbait Fishing the Northeast. And during the course of that year I dedicated myself to swimbaits. You'll see right here before you a lot of the Huddleston trouts. It's a phenomenal bait, and I joined the ranks of thousands of anglers who have come years before me in figuring out that this is decisively one of the best big baits that you can throw. You know, there's a lot of opinion out there, but this is an absolute tried and true, and it got me my personal best. It got me a 1 ounce below my personal best, so you know, it really came through. But one of the things that I found a little frustrating with this bait, it's definitely a high-end bait, it's priced at the upper end, was that Huddleston offers a lot of variability in the rate of fall options, which is great. You can get this in a floater. They call it an ROF, or a rate of fall 0. You can get it in an ROF 5, which means that every 10 seconds it's going to fall 5 feet. An ROF 12, that's one that's going to stay pretty deep, and an ROF 16 if you're fishing, you know, really deep water. But one of the serious omissions of this lure is that nowhere on the bait can you identify which one you have. Now, if you pick up a rate of fall 0 and like a rate of fall 16, you're going to feel a big difference. If you have a lot in, say, a popular color, like a lot of guys just roll with the rainbow trout and nothing else. If you have a bunch of these baits, and say you have an ROF 0 and a 5, sure, if you're dialed in you can kind of tell, but it just, to me, it would make a whole lot more sense if we could look at the bait and identify what rate of fall it is. Some other manufacturers, like this is a different lure, but say like Savage Gear, you know, it's not that complicated. You just put the stamping on the lure. So for example, this one says, which one is this here? It says MS right there in that little circle. So that's a medium sink. And then here's one that says F for floater. Okay, not that complicated. A lot of big bait fishermen out there are going to have quite a few of these large lures. They're going to have a backup in case they lose it. They may have it in multiple colors or whatever, and you're just not going to remember every color and which rate of fall that you bought, so it'd be nice if they were labeled. What I'd like to show you here this evening, guys, is just a very simple way to label your Huddleston or any other soft plastic lure that comes in these various configurations, but you don't readily have a way to look at the bait and to know which one it is you're grabbing. So all we're doing, guys, very simple, I don't want to overcomplicate it, is we're just going to be putting in some little hashes like that. Now your first instinct might say, well, why can't I use a permanent marker? So I have one of the real beefy permanent markers. I mean, this is the one you take off the cap and it's like crazy powerful. And you can kind of put this on there, but it doesn't adhere that long. As you are using the lure, this mark does fade off. I haven't found a marker yet that has a chemical composition that will actually, embed itself into the outer paint or into the plastic and not come off no matter what. So what I do is, I think it's just as easy, or actually easier, and it's certainly not going to go anywhere, is just put some little hashes in. So I'll just show you what I do here, guys. For the rate of fall 12, because I only fish 3. I fish a rate of fall 0, a rate of fall 5, and a rate of fall 12. I don't go up to the 16. So for me, when I put 2 hashes on the bottom, that's a rate of fall 12. All right. Here's a perch. My rate of fall 5s, I also utilize the bottom, and I just put 1 hash. And so the bottom to me means that this is a lure that's sinking. Right? Bottom of the tail means it's a sinker, 1 hash means ROF 5, and the 2 hashes means an ROF 12. And how I do that, I mean, you could probably do it in numerous ways. But what I do is I just take a paper clip, and I have one here that I use, and I kind of make it almost like a pot handle, just because you're going to heat this up and you don't want to burn your fingers. So if you elongate one of the thicker paper clips and just kind of do a little curlicue at the end, you can heat these up until they're glowing red, and none of that heat is going to actually transfer to your hand. And I'll just show you what I do, and we'll do one here. It's pretty simple. Alright, so here we go. Got a paper clip. You probably don't even have to go this far. You could probably just bend it like that and be fine. But I like to elongate mine just a little bit, just to make sure I don't get burnt. And we're not even going to put the fancy handle on, we're just going to use it like this. Now, when you're at home, just throw that in the stove, and it only takes about maybe 10 seconds, and this will glow red. It's such a small piece of metal that it gets really, really hot really fast. And then you're just going to put that little hash on the back of the tail. So I have one here, guys. This is an ROF 0. Now you might say, well, on the zeros or whatever, just don't put anything at all, and then you could know that it's a 0. But then I'm not sure if I forgot to mark it and if it's a heavier one or if it is a 0. So what I like to do is utilize the top of the tail and put a single hash to let me know that it's a floater. I use this tail as kind of like the, does it sink or does it float? So, and this is painfully exciting. I hold it from the back, and this is a butane torch. If you end up, say you're losing one out in the field in the boat there, and you open up a fresh package, this is a little hard to do if it's windy. So there we go. You can see it's glowing nice and red, and that'll stay hot for a couple seconds. Just go to the top of the tail here, and you don't have to be fancy. Just put a mark. The actual, once you get through the paint, the Huddleston lure is like this silvery white color, so it really pops. There's a lot of contrast, and you don't have to like bring it to your eye. You could just tell from a distance what it is that you have when you're grabbing it, and you know which rate of fall you're using. Or for you creative types out there, you could take it one step further. Alright guys, that's it. Just a little quick pointer for those of you guys out there that have Huddlestons, and if you're struggling with how to identify them, or anybody who's new to this and maybe you're just figuring out that you bought a couple Huddlestons in the off season, maybe you're looking to get into swimbait fishing this year, and you're saying, hey, I got a few ROF 5s and 0s and whatever, and how do I tell them apart? Some of the lures also, like ROF 0s, are never rigged. Like they'll never have a hook on it. They don't offer it in a hook configuration. So there's other ways that you can tell. But he has the ROF 5s and the 12s in top hook configuration now, so I don't know, to me it just makes it easier. And then the same is true of the 68 specials here. And one interesting thing I'll just note real quick, guys, is if we look at the 68 special tail, it's almost as if like Ken Huddleston was going to let us know. You can see the 5, you can see his symbol there in the middle, and you can see that 12 kind of barely etched in the bottom. I didn't do that. That's the way they come. And that's in all of these here, but there's nothing on it. Like it's not that little nub there or anything else, because some of these pores get pretty ugly. Like here's one that's just, it's got like some flashing there and some overpaint there. So it's like he had an intention of letting you know which one you were getting, but I don't know, he just never followed up on it. You can't tell. These, by the way, only come in an ROF 5 and an ROF 12. Again, in hand, yeah, there's a little bit of a difference, but, when I'm out there, it wouldn't be the first time that I picked one up, and, there's not that much of a difference. It's only like, it's not even a quarter of an ounce to differentiate these rate of falls. But maybe in the future, he'll put on something a little bit easier. But, like I said, guys, not a big deal. Just burn a little hash in the back of the tail, and you're all set. Alright, guys, just a little quick tip there. Thanks for watching.